Good morning also to Connor Wilson, Wibble Rugby. So, have you guys I don't expect you to watch extra rugby in your spare time, but the analysis videos he puts online are excellent. So, the videos, up to 250,000 people would watch one of his analysis videos. So, Connor, it's great to have you in. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you for all the work you do promoting rugby, promoting the England team as well. So, thank you.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How the hell does this happen? Well, it starts from departing my home in Milton Keynes, followed by an assortment of taxis, coachways, buses, exceptional literature, moving my way to Stansted. From there, the rubber glove treatment, my favourite place in the world, great food, and then the shuttle onwards to the terminal. A night flight in which absolutely no sleep was had, disembarking, getting on a bus, heading over to the rental place, getting my new sexy car, and then heading off. The only thing fighting the sleep? Being the audible chocolate that is my voice.
But she'll take away your pain, 'cause I'm coming. I gotta catch you, miss you and me, from younger man's clothes.
So yes, somewhat of a sleepy journey. But when England Rugby call you up and offer to fly you out to watch training, you jump at that chance, and that's exactly what I did. So yes, a busy journey, and I was very happy to get to my hotel room. But if I had to do that 1,000 times over to get this result, I would have jumped at it in a heartbeat. So, yes, it was a long journey, but now it's time to get started on this day. The next morning I woke up and we were ready to go. Okay, so today's the day. Well, today's the start of the trip at least, in beautiful Girona. Good night's sleep last night, got in a little bit late, but now bright and early, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and ready for a pretty good day, the start of the trip. Literally heading over to Camaraderie now. Literally going to attend a team meeting, show that I'm literally not an imperial spy, and yeah, crack on from there. But hopefully we can show you a bit today, guys. That's going to be quite enjoyable and quite exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So as you may have figured, guys, this is very different to the videos I normally do. This is more of a video diary of following England training in Girona. So the first part, or the AM, is going to be focused on the day leading up to the on-field or the 15 on 15. So we're going to be looking at the gym, the nutrition, the S&C work they do, and interviews with those guys. And then after that, moving into the PM. Now the PM consists of on-field England training, so unit skills, live 15 on 15, and scenario-based work. Now the PM section has been pre-approved by England, thereby we're not going to be showing everything. But understand I can't show everything, as what was seen there is no longer the ramblings of a former analyst, but insights and footage taken from within England camp. However, hopefully we can show you some pretty good stuff. Now it's a long one again, so grab a cup of tea, sit back, and hopefully enjoy it. Okay, there it is right there. It's going to be fun, this. So, we have just left the England team meeting. A lot of IP in there. There's going to be no video footage of that. A couple of photos, and probably, hopefully, we can give you some insight as to what constitutes a planning, you know, in terms of the structure of a day, what happens in a day in the life in England camp. But simultaneously, yeah, there's a couple of photos, but there's not going to be any video because obviously that's a bit of too much IP talking about the Wales game. So yeah, going to be quite a fun time. We're going down currently to training now. We're going to get quite a bit of footage. See the players, don't know if you can see them, but cycling by on their bikes. And yeah, we'll hopefully have a few things to show you today. Looking forward to it. So guys, this is Tommy, he's with me for today. What's your channel, mate?
It's called Gadgets Boy.
Gadgets Boy, he's here also with England, looking out on the impacts of tech.
Yes.
On how England are using it, which I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty much how you stay ahead nowadays. Data,
yeah.
AI, all that kind of jazz, it's so bloody important.
Computers,
so, yeah,
tech.
Quite right.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my,
Pyrenees there.
yeah, oh fuck me.
And then the two marquees.
Yeah.
There, that one's the gym, one's where we'll do the organisational stuff, and then the pitch is in front of it. But that's where Girona, the La Liga team, used to train before they bought a place a bit nearer to Girona.
Right.
I mean, it's a nice spot. It's a really
Very nice spot.
So it's fair to say the training area was absolutely pristine. You know, it was formerly used by Girona. The pitch was perfect, beautiful Pyrenees on the horizon. And then on the right there, you can see the gym tent. So the gym tent has free weights, plyometrics, cardio, and a little section for the physios to work as well. Then coming round to the other side, you can actually see the second tent, which is more for collisions work and tactical work. So the backs spend a lot of time here, not just doing collisions, but actually working on their tactics, moves that they may run, so on and so forth. Now first up, while the backs were in the second tent, was the forwards gym session. So we got a lot of neck work for the forwards, a lot of explosive stuff, which you got the jumping deadlift just there, which is always a good time. Yeah, some good pump work being done here. Yeah, so I think it starts obviously with a bit of a gym session before the day, obviously on the pitch over there. And yeah, right close, nutrition, hydration, pretty much as it should be. So just left the gym. Everything in there is very position specific. So you have certain drills, certain exercises for certain players. You've got our forwards in this little section here, and you've got backs in that little section over there doing tactical stuff. Obviously not showing that, but no, there's so it's really good to see the synergy between the two. You know, obviously eventually you can have like certain, you know, TDMs, tactical decision makers, 9 or 10 coming over here. At the same time as the forwards, so you know, conversations about tactical game plan stuff can be discussed. It's very synergenic, is that even a word? But really about geared towards getting, you know, a lot of collaboration and clarity between players, which clarity is one hell of a beautiful thing in professional sport, not just rugby. So yeah, looks pretty good at the moment. Now the day starts with a full-on gym sesh, moving to collision work before a player even gets to on-field training, which is why I was able to have a talk with Dr. James Morhan, England's nutritionist, about how to fuel them for the PM session. Nutrition, beautiful things. Yeah. That's run by Mr. James. Yeah. So literally, in terms of prepping, do you want a mic, by the way? Like, it's up to you.
I don't mind, I'll talk now, yeah.
No, so like, in terms of this, like, you know, what are you actually looking at in terms of, like, obviously you've got quick release stuff, you've got vanilla iced coffee, you've got your electrolytes, but like, is this, like, what about the recovery, what about the main, like, how does this, or how do you process and plan, like, the energy requirements for these players?
Yeah, so on a day like today, where we've got, they've had breakfast, then they're all doing their gym-based stuff now, skills. We then have a scheduled refuel at 11:30, so the rest of that will be coming down shortly. And the whole idea of the refuel is what it says on the tin. It's they've expended some energy now in the gym and doing their skills in the tent here, and then we're then trying to get that energy back into them, ready for the field session. Yeah. Because the last thing I want to do is have players that are potentially energy compromised because they've had breakfast. Some of them would have had breakfast at 7:38.
So quite a lot, yeah.
So it's quite a long time ago. They're now expending that energy. So I want them to go into this session topping up the stores again. You know, think about the iPhone battery. Like they woke up this morning at 100%. They've had breakfast. They're now chipping away at that iPhone battery store. It comes down to, let's throw a number out there, it comes down to 65. Yeah. The aim then is that they go into this training session back up at 100, and that's what the refuel's about. So we've got more kind of snacks coming down now, which are predominantly carbohydrate based. But what you see here on the table is we've kind of got different sections really. We've got nitrates here. So the idea of a nitrate is to vasodilate the blood vessel. So we're trying to open up the blood vessel to get.
I did biology at uni. I know what that
means. To try and get more oxygenated blood to the working muscles. So that's available kind of pre-session. We've then got our caffeine section here. So we have caffeine gels, caffeine shots, caffeine gums, and then there's a new product here, a caffeine melt. So again, depending on their preference, they can absorb caffeine in different modalities or vehicles, if you like. We then have a bit of a protein section. So we've got protein shots. These have got 20 grams of protein in, and we've got collagen here with 20 grams of protein in. So you'll find some players will have the collagen pre-session because they're trying to load that collagen into the.
What does the collagen do, like in terms of recovery?
Yeah, so really important point for any of the listeners or your followers here that collagen will never really outweigh whole protein.
Yeah.
So whole protein is really important to get in first, but then collagen as an addition on top. What we've seen from some of the literature is that it can help with soft tissue integrity, so tendon and ligament and the collagen cross fibers.
I could use that.
But the important thing with collagen is that it has to be done alongside loading.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of players that will have a collagen shot about 30-40 minutes before they then do isometric loading in the gym, and that's kind of the golden way to be doing it. But it shouldn't replace whole protein that they'll get from food. And then we have a carbohydrate section. So again, we've got carbohydrate shots, 40 grams, 40 gram gel, and then a 42 gram jelly, which it is really like a jelly. And in there, you've got different ways that the players might want to get the carbohydrates in. So you'll find in this refuel break, a lot of the players will come over here, they'll grab, maybe a bit of caffeine, some carbohydrates, they'll sit down, might have an electrolyte drink. Sorry, I should have mentioned we've got kind of electrolytes there. And then a big winner for the boys as well is they love this vanilla iced coffee, yeah.
In terms of the players, do they have their own preference or their nutrition needs set by yourself? Like what the order, the way that they have this? Are there feedback in terms of what works best for them that you analyse and then you feed back to them, this is the order you need to be taking it in, or do they have their own ones that they bring from the club?
It's a blend of both. You've got to remember, this environment's unique. Like, we're working with the best rugby players in England.
Yeah.
So they have their strategies that work at the club, and we will try and follow those strategies best we can and align the club nutritionists with our strategies as best we can. But if you've got a good club nutritionist, and hopefully you've got a good nutritionist in this environment, the evidence in the literature is the same. What we're trying to now do is make it a little bit more individual to match the environments of international training camps, international rugby. So one of the areas that I find quite often is the increase in carbohydrate intake. Like paramount has to go up in this environment because the training demands are higher, international test match rugby demands are higher.
Yeah.
So that's something that we work on quite a lot, and I observe that behaviour with the boys, where I might clock someone that's in the environment for the first time. I'll observe what they're eating at meal times, I'll have a look at their snacks in and around training, and then I'll sit down with them and I'll say, look, I don't think you're eating enough. And then what supports that is the collection of body weights. And quite often I'll say to the players, how's your weight? How are you tracking? And then if they say to me, yeah, I've dropped a bit, it's a really rich conversation then, where I can kind of intervene and say, this is the reason why, this is the solution, this is the strategy that can help.
Now, the gym session in particular was exceptionally loud, competitive, and clearly really specialised. Now, taking me through this was Nathan Beardsley, strength and conditioning coach of England Rugby, who was able to talk me through some of the exercises England do and what they're trying to get out of the players on this trip. Yeah, what does this? Yeah, that's good. But what does a standard week look for? Like at Pennyhill, compared to what a standard week looks like, hot weather training, Girona, a lot, obviously not as hot as it would be traditionally in summer. Yeah. But what changes do you have to adapt for? Like, what are you looking to get out of here?
So we try and get out here. Obviously, Six Nations is in that winter period.
Yeah.
So we're picking up the boys coming out of late September, October, November, where it's dross, isn't it? Bad weather. Whereas you come here, better weather, which then helps with pitch qualities, really good. So something we're looking for is just the lads to be working as fast as they can. So the pitch quality just helps the backs run faster, the forwards run faster.
Is it grass or hybrid?
This is to be hybrids. They will stitch it just to help that quality of the grass.
Gotcha. And in terms of, so obviously looking to get players as fast as they can, nutrition, we've talked about nutrition being such an important part of it. How closely related are you guys to nutrition? Obviously I imagine those two departments are literally joined at the hip, I'd wager.
Yeah, luckily we get on with the nutritionist. Del Boy is his nickname. Del Boy? Yeah, he's there. He
did not say that.
Yeah, selling everything over in his market store there. But yeah, as departments will meet on a daily basis, and obviously we're essentially living together anyway, so there'll just be constant conversations. And then speaking to the guys earlier, we'll be relaying information that we get from the gym. If we see anything from the boys they might need, something prior to the session, could be a caffeine hit or hydration, just anything like that to get through that session. And then anything leading into the test match. So essentially this is like our Thursday session, match day -2, So then post that, we'll then go heavy with the nutrition from that. I'm sure James would explain, but our conversations would help him direct towards a player might need X, Y, and Z.
So in terms of like one thing you touched on there is like what players might need. How you, in terms of are you using biofeedback like to actually see what they may, or are you monitoring for more obvious signs like they're feeling that they've got a niggle or they're just a little bit lethargic, etc.
Generally, we'll always try and speak to them first, and then any kind of biofeedback that we can get. So a lot of the boys will be wearing watches, whoops, maybe aura rings. So we can have conversations around that. But the richest stuff is the conversations we'd have with them, and then the stuff we're essentially constantly monitoring them anyway through what they lift, how fast they lift it, and then James would be monitoring them certainly from a nutrition standpoint, and their skin folds and that type of thing, the weights. That's so important.
So one thing that in there in particular that we did see, we saw quite a few exercises. We saw, well, I won't go into too much detail, but we saw like jumping deadlifts, for example. We've seen that in inside line, and we've seen quite a few others obviously on the board. Like, how do you go into obviously there's very specific position-specific requirements in terms of phys, what's actually needed in terms of like, you know, strength-wise and between backs, forwards, even like type 5 and back row, different priorities. How do you go about designing those programs, and like what kind of things are you looking to for each like unit group to kind of like get from these sessions on top of obviously general rugby fitness?
So there'll be discrepancies between the programming, but the underlying thing is like general principles. So a lot of lads will do a squat or a deadlift, they'll bench, we'll try and get them to chin as like key lifts, and then to then individualize it. So the forwards and backs, you'll see a big difference there. So the backs would have done more plyometric work. Not to say that the forwards don't do that or don't need that, but they don't need as much. Obviously that plyometrics then feeds into the speed work, so we want quick ground contacts from the boys from that, and then if we do have a team power session, they could both do that hex bar, which then creates even more of an atmosphere.
It was very motivational this morning.
You fancy to go yourself?
I wouldn't say no, actually. Jen. No, it was very motivational, but it's also, that's really good to see. You know, people revving each other up, God, you know, like that kind of thing. That's infectious. You know, in previous places I've been, that's absolutely infectious. That's really good to see.
There's really good software for us to have. Obviously, it gamifies it. They've got a leaderboard going, and then you can see the lads are growing into it. Obviously, a couple of warm-up sets, and then now it's game on, and you can hear them just cheering or cajoling each other and that type of thing.
Then on to the last session before training, the contact area session with the backs.
So we're currently in collision work. Players, you just have like DAC drills, like dislodge arms, collapse knee protocol. So you see the players, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get close, and then they're trying to get the arm around the arm, get around the knee, push off. Like, really good drills, really just for attacking breakdown stuff. This is really invaluable, like really invaluable stuff that you can learn, stuff that you can take to club, just your average grassroots club as well. So it's good time indeed.
Now, taking into account the gym sessions, the collision work, and all the other things we saw, the AM flew by, and before you knew it, all the players were heading onto the pitch, readying themselves for the afternoon session. Now, to talk me through the mentality of these sessions, and in particular what the players thought of the camp, I was able to talk to one of the world's best players and current England fly half, George Ford.
Mate, thank you for taking the time as always. So, obviously, I've got a kind of vibe back from a bunch of players also. It was a bunch of the staff that there's a lot of connection made on these trips in particular. Like, seeing like, you know, camaraderie kind of thing. Like, there's coming from club environment. Is this like a little, not a hazing, but it's like kind of an intro that's just like kind of breaks tensions from club and like resets you for England camp. You know, different Pennyhill in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. Like, obviously we've all been playing for 10 different clubs over the last period of time, and I think what coming away does and spending 24 hours a day with each other is it sort of breaks that boundary down straight away. There's obviously other massive benefits to it, like we're in a brilliant training environment with the gym and the field, the food, the hotel, recovery facilities, and it just gives us a real 7 days here to get back on England time, get back to building the connections, relationships, because as you know, like, it's one of the most important things in the game at the minute. So to have these 2 weeks build up and to make the most of every single day, every single session is massively important for us. That's why, probably one of the main reasons why we're here.
Yeah. So in terms of like Pennyhill versus here, like obviously Pennyhill's day to day, you know, like are the processes, like are there anything extra that you do here that you may not do in Pennyhill, like barring of course the social, because I think you guys are out to Barcelona tonight.
Yeah, tonight, yeah, so we're heading out tonight with a bit of food, but like, yeah, so when you come here, the weather's obviously usually a bit better. The training schedule and what we're doing meetings doesn't change too much to what we do at Pennyhill, but like the downtime, like we've got the option to get out and play paddle, play golf, lads going to Girona for coffee. Like it just mixes it up because 7-8 weeks in Six Nations, if you're based at Pennyhill every day, it can get a little bit monotonous. So to freshen it up and also to give us some stuff away from the field to do, to genuinely spend some time together away from rugby.
Mega. Now that's you do feel that, actually, generally you do feel that. I mean, in terms of, so obviously it's Wales week, you know, like, well, Wales week next week certainly, but then like, and again, tell me to shut the fuck up if this goes too deep. Well, how is a week like, so obviously we've got a day in camp, obviously we had gym this morning, then we've got a break, recovery, and then we're going to head off to, well, we're going to go to training. How does a week differ, particularly if you're playing like Wales one week, playing France week, in terms of obviously theming is a little bit different between it, but how involved are the players in that, like, you know, in terms of leading, you know, not just like, you know, tactical based for stuff, but also the theme of the week, like, you know, and SWOT analysis and stuff that you may be seeing?
Yeah, so usually what happens, depending on the opposition we're playing, is like Steve will set the tone of the week to the senior player group, and if there's anything that needs to be spoken about specifically about the week in terms of why we're training this way, how we're training, then we'll speak about that. And then obviously the other side of it is how we want to play against that opposition tactically. Exactly, yeah. So we'll have a good chat about it. Usually it's, as you can imagine, unbelievably spot on from Steve and the coaches anyway. And then it's up to us when we leave that room on a Sunday night or Monday morning to drive it as much as we can throughout the squad, to make sure that Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday on a down day, Thursday, that we are ingraining in us. This is the way we want to play. This is how we're going to go and train it. This is how we're going to go and review every day to make sure we keep on getting better during the week. And that's just a team effort of everybody, really, not just the coaches, not just the senior players, but I think everybody's got responsibility here. If you're an England player, to obviously perform yourself, but to bring others along with you as well. So that's the best teams I've been a part of, is when teams do that, pick each other up and make sure that when come Saturday, a week on Saturday when we play Wales, that we've done everything possible to go and perform.
Now the conversation continued for a little bit longer, and in this time there was something that George said that really pricked my ears up.
The team that obviously like smashes and does the basics unbelievably well and consistently well in the first game usually wins the game. So this is why the training is so important here, and I know we haven't got 80,000 people here, but what we can do here is really get after the foundations and basics of the game and the stuff that we know matters at Test Rugby, which is often the unseen stuff. So that's why we're here, and we own in on that stuff.
Please note I am not exaggerating when I say that this message is absolutely everything. Why do England go to Girona? Well, there's obvious benefits. It allows connection and camaraderie between the players. They get away from Pennyhills, a change of scenery, all this kind of stuff. But what really is the major benefit of it? The major benefit for me, and the undertone that I observed all throughout training, is that it allowed England players an opportunity to reset and realign to England principles. England at the time of recording are on a 12-game winning streak. Now, while they're looking to evolve their game, the underlying tone of this camp was do not forget the things that have got us this far. Now remember, on his very first day as England coach, Steve preached this as the philosophy that would underpin his England tenure.
And on that first poster, the poster he always referred to in every meeting was brilliant basics. And he said, you've got to be brilliant at basics, every meeting. So we've got a lot of work to do, but first and foremost, what we've got to do as part of that, we've got to be brilliant at the basics. Come that first game in 47 days' time.
This message of brilliant basics ties in with George's messaging there, where this camp is a perfect opportunity to reset to England's standard and drive the tenets that they believe makes winning Test teams. In the next section of this video, the key thing I want you to keep in mind is the brilliant basics philosophy and how it shows itself throughout this session. So the first segment of the PM session was unit skills. So this is when forwards and backs split into their groups and go their separate ways. The forwards will often work on their set piece, so their scrums, their lineouts, their mauls, their restarts, so on and so forth. The backs, on the other hand, will focus on their sprint work, passing and handling skills, as well as their aerial skills. Not mentioning drilling any special moves they may have planned for the weekend. However, on the first part of this session, we looked at the forwards unit skills.
Now we get to watch the fun stuff. So there'll be a little bit of footage that we can show you. And yeah, let's have some fun with it.
What's noticeable here is, along with ref input, you have coaches and the senior players going around correcting individual players' technique.
We'll try and keep it as high. Bind! Set! Nice squeeze! Squeeze there! Yes, get me! Feet! Yes, get me! Yes, get me! Guys, brilliant start there. Now we're getting contest. You walk me this side, please. Can I get Luke, Cow and Dickie in for Jamie George's front row? And Mark will be here.
There were a lot more of these today, obviously with a focus on training technique under fatigue. However, it then moved into the line out and more work under Steve. I cannot begin to tell you the level of detail in this session. If there was something wrong in the drill, it was stopped and corrected immediately. Here, Steve was feeding back to a player who wasn't doing the role he was meant to be doing. This dynamic that Steve showed, and actually happened throughout the session with multiple coaches, is the amount of individualised feedback, little tiny notes just given to players in the moment. It wasn't formal, it was just a little tap on the shoulder, hey, remember this, and then crack on. Lineouts then progressed into the off-9 power game, where the forwards were really focusing on body position, leg drive and ball presentation, all the things that Andrew Strawbridge had taught them. On the other side, the backs were in the middle of their sprint work.
Sprint work, yeah. So we've got sprints over there for the backs, and beautiful line-out set-up play from the forwards.
It's the same every
These are the teams. And yeah, good. Great double hits in
I
there.
tell you, it's being back and forth.
Good tackle fight. Oh, good tackle fight, Trev. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. This is really fun.
At this point, we did have to scuttle along to allow them to run their line out from our old position. Now, naturally, we're not going to be showing the line out calls, hence the radio silence, but on top, you can see the drone actually filming this session. Now, drone work is absolutely imperative in today's game in performance analysis. Having a bird's eye view really allows you to see the off-the-ball work and placement dynamics in terms of setup that you just can't get at ground level to the same extent. Drone footage is invaluable in coaching off-the-ball work, positioning and alignments in particular.
So what we can do, so we've got an iPad out there.
So done with the forwards now. Now heading over to the backs, where the sexy work happens.
It was at this point where it really became clear about the brilliant basics philosophy all throughout training. There was zero toleration for bad habits. That's probably the best way I can describe it. All the little taps on the shoulder, just the imparting of knowledge, the reminders of what had been taught to them. You can understand why coming away to Girona was a little bit of a reset for these players. You know, it basically took them to a different location where they've only been with England and therefore allowed the England Association to be stronger. Remember, we're talking about bringing together a group of lads across 9 different clubs across the Premiership, all with varying philosophies on defence, attack and set piece and kicking. So getting them into England mode quickly is essential.
You know, gets them out of that club mentality, and that is one thing I've noted here. Like, players seem like their own club, like Club England, and getting out of the club scenario, coming to a place where they're not always like Pennyhill, and just, you know, coming to a place that's not new, but certainly they get away, the connections can be forged, you know, they're going out tonight for a social. All this kind of stuff is, well, for dinner, but this kind of stuff is what bonds the players, I think, and really, you know, makes them a club, you know, Club England, which you know, you can't put a price on connection, and like, you know, like camaraderie is just such an important thing. So yeah, we're going over to the backs now, where we're seeing some super sexy stuff, and yeah.
Here, We were waiting to go up to the verge where the analysis guys are, and what you can see in front of you is the back three, working predominantly on positioning and catching. Again, in keeping with the informal feedback, Byron McWigan was here helping coach and giving advice throughout.
So currently, contestable work. And you can see players getting up and about, different directions, different types of kick, all the challenges that a modern backfield will face. And yeah, it's quite nice. It's just, this is again the fundamentals, the basics, just repeating the basics, repeating, no secrets, just hard work, intelligent work in particular. Do it over the shoulder as we go up to the analyst bay. This, oh, I miss this. I miss this a lot. There's the camera for it.
This setup has cameras for wide and narrow angles, GPS tracking and huddle as well, along with, of course,
and the drone, again, the drone. Yeah.
At the top, the outside back started work on their specialist unit skills, of which this one is, of course,
Edge defence. This is edge defence work. Again, we can see Byron and Kevin taking this. And Wiggy on the sidelines there. Running show. Yeah, again.
We're not going to disclose the feedback given by Byron and Wiggy to the players at this junction, but it was in real time and it was very detailed.
See, the communication is between the outside centre and the winger.
Yeah, so what they're repping here is...
Yeah.
What they're repping here is...
With edges starting to become more exploitable via kick pass and bridge pass, this training is invaluable.
These kind of drills, you know, to snuff out wide threats that obviously is just in the modern game now is a thing. It is a thing. You know, bridge passes, you know, short crossfield kicks, they are something that defences have to account for now. And I mean, what you just saw there was like inside options, inside steps, you know, trying to get into that space where the catch-up is a little bit slow.
What was really epic to watch in these drills, however, is while obviously it's forward-thinking coaching, but it's how the coaches all collaborated. However, it wasn't just the coaches, multiple coaches actually working with the players that was impressive, but it was actually the input of the backroom staff on the team as well.
Now, the collaboration here between, you know, quite a few of the, I mean, for example, you haven't just got the coaches, you've got logistics, you've got the kit man available, you've got the physios, you've got soft tissue specialists making sure people aren't getting injured, you've got the analysts over here just doing their wizardry, and yet it's just the professionalism of rugby has obviously really come on leaps and bounds, and it takes a whole team now to keep, you know, these guys, you know, in tip-top shape, and, you know, having like people on hand, like, you know, physios, for example, saying, okay, don't overwork it, you're done, or whatnot, or being able to say, okay, so you're nursing an injury, you're not going to be doing full contact, you're going to be doing, you know, just literally touch, all this kind of stuff really shows, you know, there's a well thought out approach to camp. Again, we've always said that England are a forward thinking team. A lot of teams will be doing this, but it does goes to show how far we've advanced in terms of professional sports environments. There's the drone going off now.
The drone was flying off as the team were about to start live full contact training, which is what you're about to see here.
Oh no, lovely CT. Again, lovely CT. It's isolated support. Overload. Oh, unlucky. Could have got the arms away there. See what I mean? The propensity to go immediately. Like, after a penalty, go immediately. You know, just trying to find opportunities, like transition attack, you know, turnover attack, just trying to constantly find those opportunities, go before the opposition are ready. Like, it's almost systematic in this team. It is almost systematic. It's so encouraging to see. This is going to be an exciting Six Nations. Promise that, and a very exciting Six Nations. See, go there. See, instant quick tap and go. Instant quick tap and go. Like, it's just there's just no break. Now they're set for the kick return, which again is another opportunity to attack. You know, it's just either via crumbs, which is what this will be. But now the opposition have to focus on getting out of their own half. Their own 22 actually. It's just a combination of brilliant pressure and running rugby. Smart, just smart play. I think these guys, they've heard my narration, Gadget Boy.
I'm enjoying the live commentary.
It's wonderful stuff, isn't it?
Like watching Sky Sports.
Don't compare me to that.
It's even better.
Yes, quite so. But no, what are your thoughts today, gents?
It's awesome to get so close.
It really is, isn't it?
It's epic.
Yeah, it is. It's not something you get to do every day. No, that much is for sure. Oh goodness me, missing the straight back into it. Oh, that was a kick. Oh, lovely 40. See what I mean? Go immediately. Oh yes, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Inside options, yes, wondrous. That was sexual.
After this, the players then went into scenario training. So scenario training is, okay, we're 4 points down with 5 minutes to go, what do we do now? A common practice under Clive Woodward's England team, Steve has taken this as it's very good at not only building confidence in certain scenarios, but attaining the intelligence and what should be done in certain points on the field. It is a really good way to attain composure, as no matter what may happen on the field, you've already practiced it. Now, this was actually the last segment of the session. After this, I had a brief chat with James Goff, England performance analyst, to determine what comes next in the process.
What happens next? Like, obviously you've done wide angles, done narrow angles for, like, you know, the analysis. Like, what kind of stuff are you looking at? What is the next process for you before lunch, before it's all done?
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate really with the equipment we've got. We're able to ingest most of it straight into the computers. So
yeah.
Kaz was clipping up quite a few bits as we were going along through the session. It's basically just those cameras that we'll then have to put in, combine them all together,
yeah,
and then we'll give a package to the coaches with all of the footage in from the 4 or 5 angles that we've collected today.
There's so much to give nowadays, isn't there?
Yeah,
like,
there is, yeah. And you can get lost with it, to be fair, so it's just going to go through and focus on the key areas of the game that we're getting after.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah, that's the aim really, yeah.
So that is training done. The players currently doing their extras. All the stuff that's actually been taken on board, in particular the footage, so your wide, your narrows, your set piece stuff, it will all be condensed into a package. That'll be presentable for the coaches to mull over, inform selection decisions, you know, work on feedback, improvements and customised thing for the players. As you've seen, it's really professional. It is really professionally done. It has to be, you know, elite sport, narrow margins, matter of inches. Therefore, getting the right feedback in the right way to the players, they'll remember it. You know, they have to be nutritioned up, so they have to be, you know, receptive to it and not like, you know, out with the fairies and lethargic, which means it can kind of go in one ear and out the other. All this kind of stuff has been considered to form the best learning and training environment for these players. And I mean, I've had some experience of professional rugby and, you know, professional sport, but, you know, just seeing the depths of which data is used, the depths to which all this stuff is, you know, taken into a consideration is pretty bloody special, to be fair. So, back to the team room. We're now back for tea and medals. Nice sit-out lunch. Yeah, it's been a good day. As your training, you know, the nutritionist was always very keen about something.
At this point, we started winding down towards the end of the day. We had a really great sit-down lunch courtesy of the England chefs with Ellis Genge, Cowan Dickey and Henry Slade. Steve Borthwick joined us after and we had a great conversation about the day's training and rugby. And then after that, it was kind of time to head off into the sunset.
That is the end of the trip. Yeah, that was a really good time. Really enjoyed that. Learnt a lot, got a lot of conversations. And yeah, I hope you guys learnt something out of it as well. There's just no doubt that the environment is a brilliant one. You know, it gives every player in it just the best opportunity. And I know it sounds so fucking corny to say that, but it does. It gives every player the best opportunity to do well, basically. Instant feedback, nutritional brilliance, you know, everyone working together as a team to get the best out of the players. Coaches, backroom staff, logistics, kitman, the lot. And yeah, it's pretty impressive. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna hopefully do something quite similar. Now that I've got this GoPro, it opens up so many possibilities for future videos. So we'll have to see how that goes. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. And until next time, go well. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Well, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it half as much as I did making it. Yeah, I've been lucky enough in my life to have quite a few awesome rugby experiences, but yeah, to get flown out to Girona to watch England training is pretty high on the list. So yeah, in terms of all the videos that I've made, in terms of making it, probably my favorite one I've ever done. So yeah, please do like, comment, share, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. Huge thanks to the folk at England Rugby, for literally being that cool to fly me out there, give me all access throughout the whole day, to team meetings, strategy meetings, and also in particular Bill Pulling and Tim Percival. Bill for arranging my flights and getting me out there, and Tim for arranging logistics, me staying and minding me throughout the day. Huge thanks to those guys, as well as all the coaches and the players who were so welcoming. Being able to have conversations with Byron McGuigan, Steve Borthwick, Lee Blackett about rugby is pretty much my idea of heaven. So yeah, huge thanks to those guys, and really appreciate it. Yeah, people may be wondering what my thoughts are at the moment in terms of whether I'm still this optimistic, in particularly in light of after the Scotland game, because the main video was made pre-Scotland and this is being recorded post-Scotland. But if you want my honest answer, yes, 100%. I think that firstly, you got to really credit Scotland for the way they played. I think they were ravenous and frenzied at the breakdown, and they really slowed down our ball, which made it very hard to get our game going. I think the aerial game, we were a little bit off, but as well as a few other areas, but simultaneously, you've just got to really credit Scotland. There are huge learnings that England will take from that, and I'd much rather have them now than, 18 months down the line, most certainly. So, yeah. There's a possibility I'm going to do a few more things over the Six Nations. I now have a GoPro, so that actually means that rather than like the long formatted videos, which I will still try to do every now and then, but it means I can potentially do more weekly videos and then have my mug on the screen and then interspersing footage on top of that. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully you hear from me pretty soon in terms of some more weekly footage and post-match reviews. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Six Nations again next weekend. I'm looking forward to that, and I'll be in Bulgaria, so it may not be instant in terms of video footage, but yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, as always, yeah, go well.